He wasn't just powerful, he was a weapon, and Ngani Laumape was the kind of player who didn't just run through tackles, he shattered them. From highlight reel tries in Super Rugby to test matches in the black jersey. He looked like the future of New Zealand's midfield, but then, almost as quickly as he rose, he disappeared, dropped, forgotten, replaced, and in the prime of his career, he packed his bags and walked away. Not for glory, but for something else. Control. Ngani Laumape didn't start with dreams of the All Blacks. Like many Pacific Island kids growing up in New Zealand, rugby league was the first love. The physicality, the raw pace, the hits. It all came naturally to him, and the NRL noticed. By 2013, he was suiting up for the New Zealand Warriors, a breakout star in the making. But injuries, depth in the squad, and the brutal churn of professional league kept him from locking down a starting role. Even with his promise, he was making around 100,000 New Zealand dollars a year, decent money, but nowhere near life-changing. At just 22, he was already asking the big question, what now? That's when Laumape did something most players wouldn't dare. He jumped codes, from league to union, from comfort to chaos. Rugby union is a different beast. The tactics, the positioning, the complexity, it breaks a lot of converts, but not him. The Hurricanes gave him a shot, and he bulldozed the door open. He wasn't just effective, he was electric. A second 5'8" who hit like a truck and ran like a winger. Within a year, he went from league outsider to Super Rugby wrecking ball. Fans took notice, so did selectors. 2017 was the moment. Laumape got the call, the All Blacks. And not just any test, his debut came against the British and Irish Lions, one of the most intense rugby stages on earth, and he delivered. Line breaks, offloads, pure chaos in midfield. From there, he earned 15 test caps between 2017 and 2021, scoring 8 tries. He wasn't a finesse player. He was the hammer New Zealand didn't know they needed. His performance against France in 2018, legendary. 2 tries, over 100 metres carried, multiple broken tackles, a storm in boots. But despite the impact, something wasn't adding up. No matter how many defenders he flattened, Laumape was never the default choice. The All Blacks midfield was stacked. Sonny Bill Williams, Anton Lienert-Brown, Jack Goodhue. But even when those players were injured or inconsistent, Laumape often started on the bench. Why? His style was different, less playmaker, more destroyer, and in a system built around finesse, passing chains and structured backline movement, Laumape didn't always fit the mould, even when his numbers screamed for selection. Top tackle breaks, high metre averages, strong try rate. The selectors looked elsewhere. In 2021, it all came to a head. He was dropped from the All Black squad, no injuries, no scandal, just left out. By 2021, Ngani Laumape wasn't just in form, he was dominating. Super Rugby defenders couldn't stop him, and his stat line spoke louder than any highlight reel. He was in his physical prime, had international experience, and remained one of the most dangerous ball carriers in New Zealand. And yet, he was left out of the All Black squad. No injury, no scandal, no explanation, just silence. Fans were stunned. How could a player with his impact be dropped at the height of his powers? Some speculated that his direct style clashed with the coaching staff's vision. Others whispered about politics within the camp, quiet favouritism, system players getting the nod, and the old guard reluctant to adapt. But none of that ever made it into official statements. The selectors moved on, and Ngani? He did too. Laumape had a choice, grind for another All Black shot, or cash in while his body still held up. And when the French club Stade Français came knocking, he didn't hesitate. Reports say his salary jumped to well over 1 million New Zealand dollars per season. That's more than double what he was earning in New Zealand, maybe even triple. In one contract, he changed his family's financial future. And that exposed a truth New Zealand Rugby hates to admit: they can't compete financially anymore. French top 14 clubs, Japanese sides, and even some UK teams have deep pockets. All Blacks are expected to stay out of loyalty, out of national pride. But loyalty doesn't pay the mortgage, and Laumape knew it. He wasn't the first to make the leap, but he might have been the first to do it so early in his prime. That made him a trailblazer and a target. Rugby in France isn't the same. The pace is slower, the play is structured, forward dominated. The flair of Super Rugby is replaced by grind and set-piece control. But Laumape adapted. The language barrier was real, so was the cultural shift. But on the field, he still did what he always had. Crashed through defenders, set the tone in midfield, and turned half chances into line breaks. At Stade Français, he became a key figure, not just a powerful runner, a leader. And while his name faded from all Blacks conversations, he never stopped proving his value. Some said he gave up too early, but others saw it differently. He beat the system before it could beat him. Ngani Laumape's story is personal, but it's also a warning. New Zealand Rugby is at a crossroads. Their national contracts offer pride, legacy, and a shot at the silver fern. But overseas, there's real money. And for players from working-class backgrounds, from island communities, from families who sacrificed everything, that choice is getting easier. Laumape didn't leave in decline. He left in his prime. That's what made it sting. And here's the hard truth. Unless New Zealand changes its approach, whether that's through higher pay, overseas player allowances, or system flexibility, they'll keep losing their Laumapes. The All Blacks will still have depth, but they'll lose variety. They'll lose players who don't fit the cookie-cutter mould but bring chaos, power, and something different. Ngani Laumape never got the fairy tale. No long reign in the black jersey. No World Cup heroics. No hometown send-off. But what he did get was freedom. Freedom from a system that never fully embraced him. Financial security, peace of mind, control over his career. And in a sport that chews players up and spits them out by 30, that might just be the smartest play of all. His journey isn't a failure, it's a mirror, a reflection of a changing game and the price of sticking to tradition while the world evolves. Because sometimes the boldest move you can make is leaving on your own terms.